Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. As we all know, Pokemon card collecting can be quite expensive, so in today's video I'd like to roll it back a second and let's look at some more cheap and affordable Pokemon cards. Every single card on today's list are going to be under $10, and I put a lot of thought and effort into this, making sure that every card looks absolutely great and are super versatile. These are cards that are going to fit inside of pretty much any collection and give you plenty of respect. I don't think anyone can hate on any of the cards inside of this list, so let's get started and look at some really affordable Pokemon cards that are pretty much the same price as a cup of coffee. First card I have on my list, and this is not in any particular order, we have ourselves the Shaymin EX Radiant Collection. This card is currently going for $6, and I don't get to talk really about a lot of vintage Pokemon cards, but this card is from the Black and White era, so that's really dating it back. I mean, this is before Sun and Moon, before X and Y, and it's a really cool Pokemon card. This card is currently going for right around $6, and a single booster pack of Legendary Treasure, the set that this card comes in, goes for $80. And this is one of the top tier pull from Legendary Treasure. If you open up a booster pack of Legendary Treasure, this is probably a really decent pull. So a really decent pull from an $80 booster pack is currently going for $6. It's a gorgeous looking card from a very early era, and honestly, it deserves a place inside of your collection. Next up, we have a really cool card from the Tag Team GX era, and that is the Gold Reshiram and Charizard Tag Team GX promo card. This card is really wild. It looks absolutely gorgeous. This card is a very expensive pull inside of the Japanese special set, Tag Team GX All-Stars, but it is a promo in English, and it is very affordable. This card is currently going for right around $9. And if you're a Charizard collector, if you're into collecting the tag team cards, I think this one deserves a spot inside your collection. And for $9, it's an absolute steal. Next up, we got ourselves another GX card, and I think this one is really underrated, and that is the Vileplume GX from Cosmic Eclipse. That's right, we got a regular ultra rare card on this list. This card is currently going for $4, and this is a really interesting period because Cosmic Eclipse was where the Pokemon company really started to experiment with having the trainers inside of the card, and you can see that inside of some of the GX card from this era, and I think this one is really cool. There's a couple of other ones that have really climbed in terms of value, and I know Vileplume is not a super popular card, but I think this card looks absolutely gorgeous, and there's going to be absolutely no issue of you having this card inside of your binder. If someone were to turn the page and see this card, I'm pretty sure they'll mention something about it because it's just really dang cool. Next up, we're going to go a little bit more modern, and we're going to talk about a card inside of Silver Tempest, and that is the Blaziken VMAX. I'm pushing it a little bit here, but this card is currently going for right around $10. And as far as a trainer gallery card goes, I think this card is really underrated. We actually put this card as S tier inside of my ranking video where we ranked every single trainer gallery card, and I do think the art is really cool. It's really goofy. It's got a lot of personality in the card, and sure, it's not a Starmie V or Pikachu VMAX, but as far as a trainer gallery card goes, I think it's still very underrated. And it just inches out into that $10 price point. If you're bargain hunting, I think you might be able to pick up this card for as low as $8 or $7. At that price, it's an absolute steal, especially from a fun set like Silver Tempest. And still keeping it modern, we're going to talk about some more interesting cards, and that is the only full art trainer card on this list, and that is the Friends in Sinnoh card, which is currently going for $6. There's a ton of full art trainer cards out there, and if you collect some of them, you may look kind of weird, but this is one that you can very easily add to your collection. It just looks super cool. Pretty much all of the Friends in Locations cards are really cool. We have the Friends in Sinnoh, which is actually the one I'm recommending in this video because it is the cheapest one, but we also have the Friends in Hisui and the Friends in Galar, and those cards look really cool as well. They're a little bit more expensive, and the Sinnoh one I think is probably the most underrated one. Maybe the Sinnoh region is not super popular with a lot of collectors. I don't really know. I think it's a really cool card, and for $6, it's an easy add to anyone's full art trainer collection. We're going to move back to a little bit more vintage now, and we're going to talk about some really interesting promo cards that you might know exist, and that is the Kanto region gym badges. These came out in the XY era, and they were really interesting. They were given out at Pokemon League event for playing in the tournaments, and they are pretty much gym badges. That's all I can really say about them. They have the complete set from the Kanto region, so all 8 gym badges are currently going for right around $5 each, and I think this is a really cool set to have. You can display it. They almost fit as a trophy collection, and just in time for Pokemon 151, if you're playing through any of the original Pokemon game or playing through the Kanto region in Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu, and you're battling each gym leader and you get their badges, this might be a fun little promo to throw in and say, heck yeah, I beat all the gym leaders. Especially if you have a young kid who's playing through the original Pokemon game. Every time they beat a gym leader, you can actually give them the card for the gym badge, which I think is a super cool and interesting idea. And like I said, each gym badge promo card is currently going for right around $5. So as a complete set in near mint condition, you can probably get it for as low as $40 to $50. It's going to look great framed up on display. For the next card on this list, we are going back super vintage with a first edition base set jungle card, and that is the first edition Eevee card. This one I think definitely deserves a spot inside of your collection. There is a ton of Eevee collectors out there, and if you want to get to where it all started, you have to go with the very first Eevee that's ever been printed, and you can still get it in first edition. In first edition, this card is currently going for right around $4, which is outstanding. I remember during the pandemic, this card was actually going for double that for the insane price of $8. So this card's actually dropped quite a bit in value. It's gone from $8 to $4, still a super affordable card, and I can't recommend enough, where you can really see where the Pokemon company came from if you have this card inside of your collection. The art back in those days, back in the early 90s, was just completely different. They just don't draw Pokemon like this anymore on new cards, and it's a really cool design. You can say you actually have yourself an Eevee rookie card, and for $4 in near mint condition, it's an absolute steal for such a vintage first edition card. Super, super cool. So when people tell you that vintage Pokemon cards are too expensive, tell them they're wrong and show them this first edition Eevee. Next up, we got ourselves some more modern card. I wanted to bring in some cards from Scarlet and Violet era, just so you guys can see what the Scarlet and Violet era really has to offer. And the first card I'd like to really represent is going to be the Riolu illustration rare card. This card is currently going for right around $8, and it is available inside of the Scarlet and Violet base set for $8. I think it's a really solid card. I think this is actually one of my favorite illustration rare from the actual Scarlet and Violet base set. I think it's super cool. Riolu is a popular Pokemon who evolves into Lucario, and I think the art has a ton of personality. Riolu is currently doing a lot of fitness training and absolutely wrecking up the house. If anyone's ever had a pet, you might be able to resonate with this card, because I do, and I absolutely love this card. It just is really funny to me, and I have this card inside of my collection. It's just really cool. For $8, I think it's a great price. And because Scarlet and Violet's so new, this card is one that is definitely probably going to get a lot cheaper in the future. In a year or two, I think this Riolu is probably going to be $4. So it's not going to go anywhere. If you don't have this card inside of your collection, don't sweat it. It's not going to get any more expensive anytime soon. And moving up, we got ourselves Paldea Evolve, and there's one card from Paldea Evolve that I will always champion, and it's my favorite card from the set. I laughed out loud when I saw this card, and that is the Empty Street card. It's just a card that is an empty street. It's super cool to have a Pokemon card without any Pokemon. I've been looking at it for hours, and I still can't find the Pokemon inside of the card. It's a really nice card. If you want a card of just an empty Pokemon street, you have to pick up this card. And this card is currently going for $7, which is an absolute steal. It's a really cool error card just because there's just no Pokemon inside of it. Great card. Add it to your collection. It's going to look amazing on display, and you can show it off to your friends and see if they can see the error for themselves. Final card on this list, and at this point you probably think I'm crazy, but we actually have ourselves a normal full art Pokemon card on this list. And this one's going to be really out there, but I love it. And that is going to be the Celebi V Full Art card. And this one, like I said, gonna be super weird. It's from Chilling Reign, a very cool card, and it's currently going for right around $4. So it's probably actually cheaper than your coffee at Starbucks. Why is this card so cool? So I have it in my collection. I've been staring at it for a while, and whenever I turn the page to it, I just can't stop looking at it. It's just really cool. I think they did a great job with this full art trainer design. The background is absolutely gorgeous. It's really blingy. And usually the full art trainer cards, they're usually not that interesting. They're usually not the chase card. But specifically, I think this Celebi V just does it justice. As far as a full art Pokemon tier list goes, I think this one deserves to be an S tier. Alright buddy, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. That has been 10 Pokemon cards that are below $10. We actually mentioned a couple more cards than 10, but I think these cards are just super cheap, and Pokemon card collecting doesn't have to be super expensive. If you have these cards inside of your collection, definitely be proud because they're all really cool. You can buy every single card on this list for pretty much the same as a retail Paldea Evolved Elite Trainer box. So there you go. Would you rather have the Paldea Evolved Elite Trainer box, or would you rather have every card on this list? I would say I'd prefer every card on this list. So that's really showcasing how much value there is when it comes to buying singles and keeping up with a ton of really cool cards for really affordable prices. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have some other cool cards that you think are underrated, especially ones that are below $10, just because that's what this list is about. So definitely rack your brain about it. Think about some cool cards that are actually cheap for once, and I will see you guys next time.